Okay, our next lesson in economics is called checking accounts. Our goal for this lesson is to know the main features and benefits of a checking account. Look at your vocabulary words. The current money available in the depositor's account is a bank account, bank balance. A society where consumers rely solely on credit cards, debt cards, electronic accounts, and checks is a cashless society. Tells the bank the length of time used in the processing of the check as well as the days of purchase is check date. Written orders that direct payment from a bank based upon the funds available from a depositor's account is a checking account. Your personal autograph attesting to the validity of the checking account. The memo tells of the purchase is memo or signature. The smallest amount allowed in an account without a financial penalty is a minimum balance. Notice sent to the customer if his deposits are not enough to cover the cost of the check he has written are non-sufficient funds. Phone system allows you to call into a service center and find out your balance up to the minute is online information. Writing a check for more money than is available in your account is overdraw. The person who will receive the check as payment is payee. Actions which take the check from the merchant to the accounting centers of the bank is process. Every Christian should realize that he has the ability to combine the activities of honoring God and establishing a strong financial base. These two activities are not mutually exclusive to one another. The book of Proverbs tells of God's approval of the hard worker in Proverbs 12:11. He that tilleth his land shall be satisfied with bread, but he that followeth vain persons is void of understanding. Earning money in a responsible way is honorable to God. Spending and saving it wisely is just as honorable. One way of keeping a responsible account of your spending habits is by using a checking account. With a built-in accounting system that checkbooks use check by check, records are kept. Unlike cash, there is little chance that a person will wonder how he lost track of his hard-earned money. Over 75% of the country's money in circulation is in checking accounts. Okay, go ahead and write your dates. And it said over 75% of the country's money in circulation is in checking accounts. One of the steps toward what many people call a cashless society was when checking accounts were established. With a signature, a customer can authorize a merchant to receive a specified amount from the customer's cash reserve in a financial institution, usually a bank. A check is simply a written order that instructs the bank to pay a certain amount to the bearer. Checks are safer than cash, and the convenience makes them more popular than carrying around a wad of dollar bills in a purse or wallet. How do I get a checking account? Okay. How to get a checking account. If you were to stop by your local bank and ask to open a checking account, they would probably require a minimum balance. Many banks In many banks, this is around $100, but some institutions will want a higher amount. If you have the sufficient amount, the account can be opened and you will be given a checkbook. These checks are blank, but have specific numbers and codes of them, both for accounting and safety procedures by the bank. So usually you need a minimum balance. Most banks it's $100. I'm going to put $100 on here, even though that's not true with every bank. Okay? They will open the account. Okay, so they will open the account and they will give you blank checks. They'll give you a checkbook until your checks can be printed. And it has blank checks. It is a simple procedure to write a check. I'm hoping that this isn't the first time that you've done this, but okay, writing a check. Writing a check. Say you go to the local store and purchase a great looking wallet, which is on sale, including tax, for $15.25. As you present your purchase, the cashier repeats the total amount and you draw out your checkbook. You fill out the check in 4 areas. Okay, number 1, you write the date. The bank needs this information for time of purchase and speed of transaction purpose. In other words, if that check does not get processed for some reason, the bank will want to know how long the check has been delayed. The date also helps coordinate both you and your bank's agreement as to the time and amount of money in your account, so you're not charged for overdrawing the account. Okay? So we said that over 75% of the country's money in circulation is in checking accounts. How to get a checking account? You go to the bank. Usually they charge a minimum balance of $100. Some banks it's more than that, but usually it's $100. Then they will open your account and they'll give you a checkbook with blank checks. Okay, to write a check, you put the date. Okay, the second thing you're going to have to do when you write a check is write the name of the payee, the person that you're writing the check to. So we're going to write the name of the payee. The payee is the designated recipient of the check. You must write legibly. The payee may even volunteer to rubber stamp his business name on the check's payee line. So it's important that you write, my goodness, legibly. They have to be able to read it. Number 3, in 2 places, you write in the amount of money involved. In the first area it is written in numbers. In the second area, the amount is actually spelled out in words. So, we need to write the amounts. In numbers and in words. One of the reasons for this procedure is to double check the amount so that there will be no confusion or cheating as to the dollar cost. I worked at a store once, a grocery store, Buy for Less, Ponca City. They're not there anymore. But I worked there, and one thing that we had to do was we had to make sure that the amount that they wrote in numbers and the amount they wrote in words were the same number. Check to ensure they are the same. Okay, they are the same amounts. Sometimes people get in a hurry and they're not the same amounts. And then it confuses the bank. You fill in the memo and sign the check. The memo is a personal reminder to yourself as to the shopping item. Okay. Memo. The memo helps remind you what this purchase was for. So a month later, you look at it and you say, what was that for? And then you look at the memo and it helps you remember. Did you spend $15.25 on a wallet or a sweatshirt? Or was it a couple of goldfish? Using the memo can give you the reasons and or items you purchased. You may write something as simple as gas station or grocery shopping or church tithe in the memo line. So basically it's a note to yourself. And you need your signature. They won't cash the check without your signature. Your signature is needed on the check for personal verification. Many times a merchant will ask you for some other identification. It's important to carry your driver's license with you if you wish to write a check. Stores often want to match signatures and take a good look at you so they can make sure that this check is not stolen or being forged. Okay. ID. Stores compare your signature from ID to the one on your check. So make sure you have your ID with you. It is important to remember the basic rule of a checking account. Don't spend what you don't have. Don't spend what you don't have. Many people have received a very unhappy note from the bank which tells them of an NSF notice. NSF stands for non-sufficient funds, and you can be hit doubly hard if you have been charged with an NSF fee. Both the bank and the merchant may charge you separate penalties. In some cases, banks charge anywhere from $18 to $25 for an overdraft. I've seen places charge as much as $50 for an overdraft. Some businesses may also charge around the same. So you could end up being charged a total of $50. You could end up being charged a total of $100 in NSF fees for a $20 purchase, for a total cost of $70. You can begin to see the danger of writing checks for more money than you actually have. Keeping a bank balance means you keep a current total of what you have deposited into your account, as well as what you have spent out of your account. It is wise to keep a current update on the balance of your checking account. Many banks now offer a phone online information system. This phone system allows you to call into a service center and find out your balance up to the minute. The information system will also tell you of the checks that have just been processed and which checks still have not been passed on to the bank. And they also have online banking, where we can look online at our accounts. Okay, we said that the second thing that goes on a check is the name of the payee. We have to write legibly. Number 3, we have to write the amount of the check in numbers and in words. Check to ensure they are the same amount. We need to write in the memo. Many people don't, but that's a good idea to always write yourself a note in that memo. Groceries, ties, and then write your signature. You need to practice writing your name so you can write your name the same every time you write it. When you write a check, they will ask you for a form of ID. Stores compare your signature from the ID to the one on the check, just to make sure that you are the person that is supposed to be writing the checks. Don't spend what you don't have. Okay, we talked about you can get an NSF. Non-sufficient funds. Note from bank. Usually if you get an NSF notice, usually you're going to get it from more than just the bank. Remember, that means non-sufficient funds. Okay, and we talked about some ways to keep track of your account. Keep track of your account. Keep your account balanced. I went to balance my account after not balancing it for about 3 weeks, and I found out that I had about $200 worth of checks out, and I got paid the next day. So I deposited my check and I didn't touch it because I knew that once those checks came in, I was in trouble. But it cost me a whole paycheck because I didn't keep it balanced. The checks hadn't gone through yet, so I didn't get any non-sufficient funds. But some ways to keep track of your account. They have online. Okay. We can, the phone call, we can call the bank. There's internet banking. We can look online at our account whenever we want. The important thing is to keep track of our accounts, because this will tell us what checks have went through, which checks are still out, so you don't spend the money. Okay, this check hasn't gone through yet, so I need to keep the money in there for that check. There are many different kinds of checking accounts. Now let's talk about the kinds of checking accounts. Some banks offer interest on the money that is in the checking account, while others may give you other benefits that will meet your particular financial needs. If you write a lot of checks, you might want free checking, so you don't have to pay for each check you write. When you talk with a customer service representative, tell them of your particular needs in a checking account. Okay, so some checking accounts offer interest. Some are free checking accounts. Which means there's you can write as many checks as you want. When you talk with a customer service representative, tell them of your particular needs in a checking account. Okay, we said keep track of your account, keep it balanced. Ways to keep track of your account are with a phone call or internet banking. I keep skipping letters in here. Forgot my R. Kinds of checking accounts. Some checking accounts offer interest. Some offer free checking. Some are free, which means you don't have to pay for every check you write. You can write as many checks as you like. Go ahead and study this lesson, study your notes, and answer the questions.